Welcome everybody. So I'm so glad you're here today. I want to show you how to make the front cover and the back cover of your sketchbook. So it can get decorated however you want, but this video is going to show you how to add on the front piece and the back piece. So to start with, you need a piece of cardboard and the paper in the color that you want to do, and the inside piece. Now the inside piece, really as long as it can cover this like inside bit, it doesn't have to go all the way to the edge, but I just like the way that one looks. So I pre-cut this so that it fits like that. And for the outside color, I just use a piece of cardstock. So to actually do the making, I'm gonna use my glue. I like the Elmer's purple glue because then I can see where I'm at. And I use the paper that I'm just about to glue anyway as my surface for gluing so that I'm not getting glue all over the table. But you can use an extra piece of scrap paper, like if you get one of those random magazines in the mail like I do, then sometimes I just use one of those and I just move to a new page every time I need to have a new gluing surface. So once you have it all nice and glued, you want to center it as best you can. Now, I usually like to have a piece of extra paper or something that I can wipe my fingers off on, but whatever works for you. Now, I like to use this brayer to really make sure this is on there real tight. You can use a brayer, you can use, really honestly, your hand, anything that you can kind of rub on here to make sure that this is nice and stuck on there good. So the next step, once you have this, I want to be able to cut my corner pieces. So what I like to do is I'll just eyeball it and I will cut a little funky piece out like that from each of my corners. So I just kind of line my scissors up at an angle and then I trim. So if you get like a little hangy piece over there, that's okay, just pull it off, it's fine. And I'm gonna do that on all four sides. Now you could, if you wanted to make it exactly, match exactly in the corner, you could try to cut it really, really straight. For me personally, I don't like how it looks as much. I like having the little overlap. It's a personal preference, and I tend to save these things to use them for other projects later. Okay, so now this is when you would want an actual random extra sheet of paper for underneath this. So I'm going to use this old book page. Actually, I might use 2 book pages. Whee! So I do a lot of stuff with book pages, so I have a lot of these extra book pages hanging around. So I do want to get some on the edge here, like that. And you want to make sure when you're gluing, you're always gluing all the way to the edge of the paper. So it's going to get on that book page, but that's why we stuck that down there. So now I'll roll that up so I get it real nice and stuck on the edge, and then I'll pull it towards me to make sure that I've got it stuck real good. And again, use the little brayer. Now, me personally, I like to do both sides that are the same size first. I just like the way that looks better because it looks nice and even to me. Now, this glue that I've chosen, it's purple now, but it's going to turn clear once it dries. You can use any glue you want. I do recommend a glue that isn't going to yellow the pages. So trying to have one that's archival is a good plan. If you get a little squeezy bit coming out in the corners, just wipe it off. Now you can, once you have this stage, if you want to add other stuff on before putting your back page on, the benefits of that would be if it's something like this, where I've glued stuff on and I folded it over and I want to have a nice border like that. If I glue more stuff first, then it'll go underneath this page. But if I glue it later, like if I glue this page now, then anything I add on later will come over the top. Either way is totally fine. Okay, so now that I have that, so like this page, I'm just gonna stick it to that page so I can glue this page. I tend to use what most people would consider an excessive amount of glue, but I'd rather have my stuff stick, because anytime you don't go all the way to the edge, you're giving your paper a spot to be able to pull away from. And that is not something you want when you're doing this. So I'm gonna line it up on my edge here. I'm gonna lightly place it down, make sure it looks nice and even, and then roll it. Okay, so at this point, like I said, if you get any glue on the roller, just wipe it off of the roller. And it is gonna dry clear, so whatevs. But once you have this, then you can decorate this in any way that you want, but you're gonna need a front and a back. They could be the same, they could be different. Get creative. All right, thanks everybody.